talk will not actually help you.
So I was
So a lot of those are very expensive. BetterHelp, things like that. Um, and they're there to make money. Why are they there to make money? Well, they're trying to be a solution because the insurance companies make it so difficult. That's another thing too. Insurance companies come in and try to mess up any type of healing possible. Surgery, getting medicine, getting something diagnosed, getting an MRI, talking to someone for 10 minutes. Anything like that, an insurance company small hat comes in and fucks up the process. They got to put a toll booth up at every spot and also prolong the process.
a therapist on BetterHelp for about 3 months. BetterHelp encourages therapists to have up to 50 clients in a week.
They need to do better. They really need to take care of their staff, take care of their clinicians, right? And not have to see 10 to 12 people in a day. That's crazy pants.
The dirty little secret is, if you don't have a serious mental illness, such as wartime PTSD or being SA'd as a kid, then most therapy is a waste of time and money, and you are simply the perfect client for 99%.
Let's go back to this church.
Simply the perfect
here.
client.
Hang on a second.
Or being SA'd as a kid, then most therapy is a waste of time.
So that Equilibrium had put this in here, the church thing. Let me go back. Not this one. Where is it? Sorry, I'm trying to. He had posted something. Yes, yeah. This is like a new religion where you need to confess to the priest, your therapist, in order to be absolved of your sin monthly and forever, because it's a journey. Yeah. So this is where maybe we used to have better religious institutions and whatnot where you could do that more. So, sorry, I'm answering a text. So, but people, I think that maybe used to be a little bit different. I think as society has progressed since, we'll say, the 50s on, just this is just a theoretical thing. I think people maybe used to have a little bit more of a soul, in a sense that it wasn't as corrupted by, it's not as disconnected. So as we have more social media and connectivity and stuff, we feel in some ways we're more connected, but so on a surface level, we're actually much more connected, and it is actually pretty cool. But sometimes on a deeper level, we're not. And I think people used to have more real problems and go to, I think basically when there used to be a little bit more shame, people would go to a place, to, a priest and say, hey, I did something bad. This is wrong. I actually do feel guilty about it and stuff like that. Right now, I'm not really seeing a bunch of that. Letty says, I think most women view their mental issues therapy as appointments. Says, yeah, exactly. Well, she said, oh, we hit it off great. We were friends. Because a lot of times they just want to gaslight each other. Things like that.
Time.
I call it gaslighting.
And money, and you are simply the perfect client for 99% of these charlatans.
Also, the incentive is for therapists to treat the least sick for the longest period of time. That's the incentive. Because you don't want the schizophrenic patient who really needs you.
Right.
They're really hard to treat, right? You don't want the bipolar patient.
Right.
Some people will refuse to see those patients.
See, they're great at holding your hand and making you feel all warm and fuzzy inside, but in terms of actually solving
And they want to seem like they're a hero too.
serious issues, forget about it. And the reason for that is actually really simple. You see, real science is based on two fundamental principles: repeatability and reproducibility. And especially the social quote-unquote sciences have struggled with this for centuries. In fact, it is well known in psychology specifically that 40 to 50% of all studies cannot be replicated, and this number is only increasing.
So for a long time, especially in psychology and in life sciences, people were just like, I would do a study, I would report whatever I want to report in a paper, but in reality, this was just a fluke, and no one is going to replicate it. So people are going to base their work off of my fluke.
270 scientists from the Reproducibility Project Psychology took on a huge task: rerun 100 studies that had been published in 3 important psychology journals. And by 2015, they had replicated all 100. And of those 100 replications, only 36% resulted in any significant results. And for that 36% that were replicated, the effect sizes were on average half of what was originally reported.
So not only can results of psychology studies often not be verified, but there's no real motivation to do.
Also, they're very linked to Ivy League schools. They're kind of all mixed in together. So that all these institutions want to work as like a synergistic parasite, I guess. Clayton calls the gym the Iron Temple. Yeah. There's also a this Italian sculptor guy. He put work is the only salvation, but not work as some slave wage job. In his case, it was creating his art. So the working on the marble, sculpting it. He felt work is the only salvation, or not the only one, but he said work is a salvation, I guess. Going to the gym improves mental health by triggering the release of mood-boosting endorphins, reducing stress hormones like cortisol, and providing a distraction from negative thoughts. Yeah, absolutely.
Do so. But the problem gets even worse since psychology has a major problem that's never even mentioned, and that is the problem of calibration. You see, when you measure...
also, too, just look at how sick our society is, and we have more therapists than ever and stuff like that, more medicines than ever. It's just like, well, we're not really healing anything.
Things
and that's, by design.
Distance, speed, voltage, or temperature, you need good instrumentation that is carefully calibrated. And when you start messing around a person's brain, you definitely need to make sure that your instruments can be trusted to give you perfect results. Well, in therapy, the instrument that you're using is another person's brain, such as this one.
I have been on Zoloft or sertraline since I was 16, and I've been on the highest dose, which is 200 milligrams.
Or this one.
Ever since I decided to share my own mental health journey, dating back to 2 years ago when I checked myself in for inpatient mental health. And I say over and over again that my lived experiences enrich.
Yeah, do you really trust any of these clowns with your mental health? Or that they have the capacity to perfectly analyze or treat another person?
Particularly the serotonin antidepressant.
So honestly, what's up, Keyshawn? Sometimes, sometimes a really good therapist is like a good bartender, or someone telling you, honestly, something like this show, where we're just going to point out something. And sometimes sometimes the red pill is really what will change your mental health, but it might be a hard pill to swallow at first. I have an example of a friend that I had who was dating this chick that was treating him like trash. He was always simping to her. She would just sort of like humiliate him and stuff like that. And I was like, you need to stop this. I said to him, like, I'm losing respect for you as my friend if you're going to keep dating this girl. And he actually dumped the girl. And that weekend, like a few days later, he actually met his wife, the woman that he married, because he was only a few degrees away, sort of. And so you need to sometimes slap someone upside the head to say, not stop this, or it's over, and things like that.
It's like the SSRIs and
But another thing too, there's no money in it. Sometimes a really good bartender or someone like that can just say, like how we view that Brie, the mannequin, that light, that dark skin, that black chick on here, and we diagnose how she overthinks it and everything like that. How if she just made a few changes, she could be on Easy Street. Sometimes you just need that. You need something like that.
SNRIs, they can cause a condition called tardive dysphoria, where long-term people will start to develop this feeling of being very blunted,
retard drive and dysphoria,
low motivation, some cognitive impairment, and high background anxiety.
I have been on Zoloft or sertraline since I was 16.
Hell no. Because when a surgeon breaks his leg, he can still perfectly supervise.
So that's one other thing too. You've heard me speak about de-evolution. Are we dissolving? Excuse me, devolving. Well, if we're an organism or a mammal that has made themselves codependent on an external source that's not found in the natural environment, like this isn't some type of berry we're eating or something. It's like a man-made chemical from China. Most of these pills are all from China. We have made ourselves weaker by doing so. We've made ourselves where we are not an independent organism. We're a codependent organism. We're a codependent, like, mammal, I guess. Yeah, she's like bragging about being on those pills. Yeah, we like, that's another thing too. We're assuming most women are, because a lot of them are. And I'm kind of glad that men are not doing it. Yeah, they love that equilibrium, yeah. And they'll be a customer for life.
The surgery, or even conduct the surgery himself with the right equipment, since his knowledge or technical abilities have not changed. However, an individual who breaks their brain is in no place to treat or even analyze another person, since clearly their instrument is no longer perfectly calibrated to measure correctly. And this problem becomes clear when you see that most of these therapists can't even separate simple things such as politics from their sessions.
Therapy shouldn't be political. Therapy is political because no matter what you try to do, there is a world outside of your therapy room.
One of the most violent things in the field of mental health therapists can do is continue to remain apolitical or have a neutral stance.
If you get shot and start bleeding on the streets, you do not care what politics the doctor has that saves you. You just want to live.
So here's another thing too. So our Western medicine is much better if you got a gunshot wound. They're good at surgery, extracting something. They're pretty good at that. But what they're really bad at, which also has to do with mental health and a lot of diseases and stuff like that, is the Eastern way, which is an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of the cure. We are not doing that. We're actually doing the opposite of that. We're eating poisoned food, living a high-stress lifestyle, waiting for something to break down, and then barely able to attack it because there's so much bureaucracy that you can't just get the MRI and get going quick. They The insurance companies come in and they want like the disease to soak in, essentially, and kind of set in.